Well, good afternoon. It's Crazy Cheap Chick, and today I'm going to show you how to make a roast. Now, we all know how to make a roast in the crock pot. That's easy. How many of us haven't thrown a roast in the crock pot before leaving for work, and then by the time you get home, you have a mushy pot roast, and you're thankful that you have that mushy pot roast. But that's not how our grandmas and mothers made pot roasts. I remember my grandma made a roast every single Sunday. Maybe yours did too, or your mom. And they would have a big Dutch oven, and they would get it all ready and then put it in the oven, and you would go off to your religious services, and by the time you got home, dinner was practically made. All you had to do was mash the potatoes. Well, that's the kind of roast I'm making today. Haven't made it in a while because I kind of like the crock pot mushy pot roast, but my husband hates it. I'd love to make roast beef sandwiches out of that roast beef that way, but he likes the sliceable kind of roast, the kind that you actually bake in an oven, and you have to seal it before you bake it. It's easy though, it's so easy. And as I was making it today, I thought, why don't I make this more often? It's so simple. So hold on, I'm gonna show you how to make a pot roast in the oven. The first thing we're gonna do is seal the roast. I have a big, I don't know, I think we call them, in my day, we used to call them a Dutch oven. I don't know what they call them now, just a big enamel pan. And I'm going to take this pan, I'm going to put a bunch of olive oil in here. Now the meat, which I bought a couple of days ago, I have been marinating. And it's just a little rice vinegar, and I think I put a little bit of Worcestershire sauce in there, a few spices, like seasonal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this pan super hot, and then we're going to put this roast in here, and we're going to kind of braise it on both sides. What that's supposed to do is seal in the flavor. And so by kind of sealing it in before we put it in the oven, that's going to help it retain its juices and make it juicier and taste better. Now I'm also going to add a little bit of garlic in here. If you've got some onion, you can put that in there too. I cut up just about half an onion and put in there, and I'm also going to put in a little bit of garlic, because I like garlic. Just like Spice World minced garlic. And I'm going to get that going. And next we're going to put our meat in. Doesn't it sound delicious? Can't you almost smell it? Okay, so we've got that meat in there. And we're going to cook it on really pretty high heat, because the point of doing this is to seal the juices into the meat. Now, I think the reason this was so popular when I was growing up, I mean, we had a roast almost every Sunday dinner. And the reason was you could get it ready like this and put it in the oven, go to your congregation, come home, and the roast would be ready. Now you might notice that meat has quite a bit of fat on it, and that's fine. Fat is flavor. You don't have to eat it, but it's okay to go ahead and cook it with your meat. It's going to make a really rich broth. While I wait for that meat to cook, I guess I'm going to try to figure out how to get these scissors out of here. When you can't find your scissors and you buy new scissors, how do you open the scissor package? Now, as you can see, it's seared a little bit. I've got it high heat. So I'm going to put some carrots and celery and onion. And I got these potatoes for $1 off clearance rack. So we're going to put potatoes. We're going to put right around the roast and cook it all together. I also had gotten some of these fingerling potatoes off a clearance rack for $1 for a whole bag of them. So I'm throwing a few of those in too. Man, doesn't that look delightful? Now I'm going to put a little bit of seasoning on there before I put it in the oven, and some broth. So first I'm going to pour in this vegetable broth. Now you could just pour in water. It would be just perfectly acceptable. But I'm going to use this vegetable broth since I have it. And tomorrow we're going to have some really good beef broth. There goes the vegetable broth. If you had beef broth, you could use that. If you want to just use water, I mean, broth is just salty water, let's face it. And then You want them pretty well covered. They don't have to be completely covered, but I mean, they're going to be cooking in the oven. I'm going to put a little bit of seasoning. I'm going to put a little bit of sage in here. You can season it according to the seasonings that you like. There's no rules on this. I'm going to put a little bit of basil. But seasonings really give things flavor. And I'm going to put some oregano. Now notice I'm not putting any salt or pepper yet because, well, I mean, we could put the pepper in. I guess I'll put some pepper in. But the thing is with salt, it'll might dry it out. So we'll wait. I'll put a little bit of pepper in there. So there we go. It's seasoned up. We're going to put the lid on and we're going to put it in the oven. I'm really late getting this started. It's almost 3 o'clock. Hopefully it'll be done by about 6. Okay, now that's the roast you remember Grandma making. Because you know what? I am a grandma. There it is, all done. Let's get that other small roast out of there. Man, that looks good. I'll just have to slice it. There's the finished product. Roast, corn, potatoes, carrots, celery, and dinner rolls, just like your grandma used to make, and just like your grandma makes. What do you think? How's it look?
It looks yummy, yummy, yummy.
All right, well, let's serve it up. Well, thank you for watching my video all the way to the end. You must be a super kind, nice person. And I do appreciate it. If you got anything at all out of the video, even if it was just the memory of your mother or grandmother making pot roast when you were growing up, please give me a like and consider subscribing. Leave me a comment. I try to respond to all the comments that I receive on my channel. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I hope that you have some pot roast soon.